Hi, this is Kendra from Pencil and Pigment, and today I want to talk about drawing fruit. Now, I'm going to be doing a persimmon, and this is a very iconic fall fruit where I live in North America in the United States. There are many different ways to draw or paint or create fruit on your surface, on your page, whatever you choose to use. You can draw things that are seasonal. So you can draw things, this is for autumn, this is for spring. You can draw things like this is for October. These are the foods I eat for Halloween. It could be like that type of theme. You can do things that are native to your area. So things that grow naturally. And it can be as small as the city or county you live in, or as big as the state or country you live in. You know, this is what my country is known for growing. You can draw and paint or whatever things that are considered rare. So really hard to find fruits, specialty grown fruits, especially places like Japan that do gift fruits that are grown really specific as a deluxe gift can make a really nice illustration. Things that are extinct. So every once in a while, a variety or a very specific fruit or plant becomes extinct. And that's something you can absolutely draw and recreate, but think about references for that. And you might have to credit where you get your references from if there are so few or so little. Life cycle, again, drawn in the various stages of this is flower, this is it really small as it starts to change color and become the full ripe fruit. Things that are poisonous. If you want to keep with the spooky October theme, you can draw fruits or vegetables or plants that are poisonous. Dissected. So this could be sliced, it could be halved. There could be a picture of it whole, a picture of it halved, a picture of it quartered, and then the individual seeds and flesh and all the bits on the inside can be pulled out like a dissected scientific illustration. You can draw foods you love, just everything you love to eat, or things you love to eat in the month of October or in the season of autumn. Things that are nostalgic. Maybe they're things you grew up on, and it reminds you of home or of family or of friends and good memories. So you could do nostalgic fruit. Food you grow. So it could be things from your garden, things from your community garden, things from your local farm. You can draw it in the context of it still on the shrub, on the tree, on the plant. So then you have the green foliage, you have the branches, you have all the things. You can draw this in a meal. So the seeds could be pulled out and it can be in a salad. Or it could be floating in a cocktail drink. So it could be in that context. It could be a recipe where you just have a picture of the fruit and then you have a recipe that includes the fruit. Or you can just have it sort of start to be peeled and partially open. And then you kind of see what the outside looks like while you get a glimpse of partial of the inside. So there's tons of different ways you can do fruit and how to choose the fruit you want to draw. We have cats. They sound like horses. So, looking at my page and thinking about how to do this, I've been trying to do them to actual size as much as possible. And if I go to do this one actual size, I won't be able to include the whole thing on the page. Again, A6 is kind of small. I mean, I could. Well, it's a tight squeeze. I may do something, So, it could very much be like this. And then with the label. Or it could be, I do small ones. And it could be a pattern. And that could be fun too, like a repeating pattern, whether that be for a design later or a print reproduction product, something like that. Again, it could be cut open. And then here is pomegranate. Doesn't quite behave like other things when you go to cut it open, but you get the distinction that that's a slice and it's been sliced. Hi, cat. And then we could do a branch and have the pomegranate growing. I mean, you could even do bugs, like there's a leaf beetle that always tries to go after pomegranates. So if you wanted to include other things in your illustration, you could totally include a beetle. You could include a butterfly. Maybe it's one that pollinates and helps with the pomegranate coming to fruition. Maybe you have like a plate here and you really want to highlight some of your dishes. Like you want to include other things, other context into the illustration or your creation. You know, maybe you're working on other things and botanicals are fun, but you want to have like a hand holding the fruit or the slice, you know. It's it's hard to get this on camera, but if you're holding it in your hand and you have a picture of that, of the slice sitting on a hand or a hand grabbing it or plucking it, there's tons of different ways. We have cats and they sound like horses. There's tons of different ways to do this fruit. So I think I'm gonna go very basic with kind of cutting it off. It's what I did here with the Norway maple, just because this is the actual size. I couldn't fit it all on, so exceptions were made. So I really want to include the whole thing though, and I want to make sure that I get as much of it as possible. Okay, so I have some guiding lines here. And it comes to a little point. So I'm going to need a lot of red. And I'm really excited here. Let me zoom in real quick. All right, so here is my rough sketch up close. I just want to make sure that I'm getting, you know, the full shape. But there is brown on the top. So I'm going to want to pull out my browns and make sure that I'm color matching that as best as possible. So I have these two. Again, we'll see if I can do this without, no, I'm gonna need my glasses. Hold on, and I'll tell you the names of these colors real quick. Thank you for being patient with me. Okay, Raw Umber 180. And boy, Burnt Ochre 187. So these are the Faber-Castell Polychromos, and so I'm probably going to use both of those, not only for this little nub here, but there's little imperfections, little boo-boos. There's striations and little lines that aren't solid red, and this is what makes the fruit so dynamic to draw. Again, there's going to be like a highlight. You can see this, where the color is going to be very faded. And then here it's going to be darker because it's in shadow. But I want to get the blemishes. I want to get the little tip. I want to get the natural things that look like flaws. It's what makes the fruit perfect. Okay? So when you go to draw a fruit, it's okay if it's lopsided. That's more realistic than a perfectly spherical orange. It's just not interesting when it's made with a compass or a stencil. So absolutely get in there and have it be a little wonky. Have it be a little bumpy. Look at all the weird little things. I need reds. I'm gonna need all the reds. I'm gonna get my pencil jar and let's see, which reds do I want? I think I want these two reds. So I have chosen Deep Scarlet 219 and Dark Red 225. And I think the combination of the two of those will look really, really good. And then depending on the amount of pressure I add, ooh, I might add this one too. This one is Magenta 133. Now I know for a fact that magenta has really poor light fastness. So this is again just for my sketchbook. This isn't something I'm going to be ripping out and gifting to someone. So I don't mind that this would fade in the sun. It's not going to, this page isn't going to be in the sun. You can look, like these have little star systems on there. It says 3 stars, but I know for a fact that the magenta fades. So it's really hard to find bright pinks. You look at things like opera pink. Oh, here it is right here. This is middle purple pink, and this one is 2 stars. So this will definitely fade, which is okay. Again, if you're going to print something or scan it or just digitize it or take a picture of it and post it to your social networking, it doesn't matter if it's not a completely light fast product, but it's good to know which products in your collection, in the things you own, that absolutely aren't complete light fast. That way, if you go to make something for someone, you can say, hey, don't hang this directly in the sun, make sure it's framed behind glass, things like that. I mean, I've done illustrations as samples to show people what you can get away with like Crayola pens, which don't have any light fastness at all, and they're still good because they're completely out of the sun and behind glass. So you can get away with some of that stuff. All right, let me scoot closer. So those are the colors I'm going to use specifically for mine. You may choose something a little different for yours. Again, it doesn't have to be the exact colors I have. You can color mix, or you can have yours be, you know, maybe you want a black pomegranate. Okay, maybe you want a spooky pomegranate. Maybe you want yours pale and pastel. Maybe you want yours to have glitter. Maybe you want yours to be collaged bits of different reds. There's so many ways to do this. There is no wrong answer. And I'm not saying just because this is how I'm doing it, that this is how you have to do it. If you're doing pen and ink and you're only doing it in black, make sure you denote as much as possible to keep it looking like a persimmon and not like an apple, okay? One of that is sort of the bumpy globular shape, the little bits and pieces here, and you may have to denote a cut slice just to show the inside to prove like, hey, it's not apple seeds, they're little pomegranates and it's full. So that would absolutely help if you're doing monochromatic and it's not the actual color of the fruit you're drawing. Again, if you're doing watercolor, you can underpaint with sort of an orangey red and then do a light, a more richer red on top and then a little bit darker red concentrated. It's how you choose to paint and layer up. If you are sculpting, then by all means, I mean, look at this. It's not, he's not a circle. He's a really weird shape. And some pomegranates are spherical. Again, some of these are from our neighbor, so they're going to be, they look as how they're grown. I tried to choose the reddest one, so it's still, you know, but we have some pale pink ones that look clunky, so, but that's just nature. So I'm going to start out with, who are you here? Deep Scarlet Red. And I want him to look kind of weird. Okay, I might move him a little to the side here. Make sure that's, is that fully? Yeah, okay. I'm like trying to make sure that it's, he could be a little taller. Okay. All right. And I'm going to just throw down a really pale layer and I'm going to build up on top. Again, if you go too heavy-handed with your colored pencil, it becomes hard to add another layer without muddying the colors. You can't lift anything if you change your mind on something or you want it lighter in an area. So I always start lighter than I need to be and then keep adding layers on top. There are many ways to bake a cake. There are many ways to draw or create a persimmon. So again, I'm choosing things that I can find in my area in October because I want this to have the October feel. And I know blackberries aren't October, but it was just the end of the crop and I can't resist not showing you all our blackberries. And it's why the bears come through, honestly. The bears and all the deer come through our yard for our blackberry patch. I know. Do you see a persimmon? I totally see a persimmon. Though it could be an apple right now. It could be a red delicious. The other thing we do apple taste testing in October. We find as many one-off apples as we can find from the farm, from the grocery store, from our neighbors. And we do an apple taste testing and we get, we try to get at least a dozen. It's something fun we do with the kids. And then we do an apple recipe to bring in the first day of fall, the autumn equinox. So we did an apple crumble this fall equinox. The apple that always wins, year after year after year, and this might be surprising, is a red delicious. And when they're ripe and when they're in season, they win. It is not my favorite apple. I know I shouldn't be talking about apples when I'm doing a persimmon. Yeah, no, my favorite is Granny Smith. I really like tart. I like tart and I have a thing for bright green. So aesthetically, visually, taste-wise, it's my favorite. Things we do with pomegranates. We put the seeds in smoothies and we just eat them. We just eat them. We just peel, cut them, and snack on them. It's just a fun little snack. But they're good in like a spinach walnut salad. I'm trying to think all the different interesting things you can do with pomegranate. I've seen them in like sparkling cocktails and mocktails. It's a very festive looking drink with a sprig of like rosemary. Okay. You can grow these. I will link in the description box growing instructions if that's something that you are interested in. If you are thinking about growing this, I have seen it pruned like a tree. I have seen it pruned like a shrub. Again, it does have some insect predators, so be mindful of that. My parents have something eating theirs, and they have an outdoor camera, and my mom was telling me that she thinks it's a possum that's eating some of their pomegranates. I don't know. We don't grow them. I want to plant blueberries. I want to plant some native blueberries. But pomegranate is worth considering. All right, so that's my first layer. Not very dynamic or interesting. But as I start applying more pressure, the fruit will come alive. And again, I want different stripes and striations. I want to denote, there's like a, no, I think I want a gray. Which gray is this? Oh my gosh. Warm gray 274. So if I go to do a little like boo-boo in the fruit, right? And it kind of looks like that boo-boo right there. Okay. So, we're doing good. We're looking good. It's looking weird. But yeah. Maybe I'll add some weird little, the more variations on color you add, the more natural it starts to look and become. Again, you don't want anything to be looking totally perfect or totally symmetrical. Unless that is a style choice. and that's something you're going for stylistically. So think about shape, think about form. If you're trying to make this look as 3D as possible, you want to pay attention to the highlight and you want to pay attention to the shadow, okay? If there's bends or folds, there's going to be more shadow. All the things to think about. So I am going to keep working and keep going and keep layering. I'm not going to make you watch me do an entire persimmon or a entire pomegranate. But yeah. I'll pop back in the end maybe and show you my finished product. But so far I'm using this red. And I'm using a gray. A warm gray. I just have the grays that came with the 36 set. I didn't buy any additional ones. Okay, those are the three colors. Those are the three colors I've used so far. Now I'm going to keep working. Sunflower. Hi, pretty girl. Hi, baby cakes. How are you, baby? Hi, Hans.